Well, hello there everybody, UXW Bill here again. And apparently the vintage stereo collecting bug is not through with me yet. It seems that I have picked up, and very definitely intentionally, another Technics, one of those little Technics receivers of the 1980s. This one is a silver one. This is a quartz synthesizer FM/AM stereo receiver, model number SA-210. It dates from 1983, and for being that old, approximately 27 years, give or take a little bit, it looks very good for its age. And a unique feature of this one as compared to the SA-929 that I already have, this one actually has a vacuum fluorescent display. And it has a large number of unused characters in there. You know, there's a couple things here and there, but the most important ones are the MW and LW indications. There's evidence inside this little receiver that they intended to make a version for the European market, because there's a DIN plug connector for the turntable hookup, but it's not actually populated. Anyway, this is just an earlier version of the same kind of thing as the SA-929. It uses the same kind of amplification technology. It uses a Sanyo, I believe it's an STK4141 hybrid. This one looks like it's been pretty well cared for, which, as you might remember from my previous videos, is definitely the exception to the rule. Most of them just seem to be absolutely beat to death. But one thing that's kind of wrong with these, if something goes wrong in the power amplifier, the protection, particularly the DC offset protection, is dependent upon an electronic circuit to function, as opposed to something like a relay. Well, all too often the electronic circuit gets blown away, and the speakers end up with a power supply rail on them. So a unit like this that doesn't have the outboard protection relay, as my other one does, if it's played hard or if something goes wrong, it could prove hazardous to speakers. So if you find one of these and you don't hear a relay click when you turn it on, but it seems to work normally, you might want to look into finding some kind of outboard speaker protection device, or just use some cheap little speakers that you don't care too much about. Now, I've actually had those speakers since about 6th grade, and they've been good little speakers. They're not, they're not wonderful, crazy high fidelity speakers, but they work just fine, and I enjoy them. So I'm not looking to blow them up. It's just that they were what was handy to demonstrate this receiver. It's pretty clean. It's in pretty good shape. I gave it a cleaning just to get the fingerprints and the smudges off of it. Internally, it was extremely dusty, so I blew all the dust out of it very carefully so as to avoid getting in there. Amazingly, the controls don't seem to need a cleaning. The phosphors in the display aren't burned. They show up nicely and clearly. Yeah, everything works smoothly. And there's a little interesting thing I've never seen before. There's a little Technics sticker down there. It's on at an angle. I tried to fix it, and I stopped because it appeared to be a metallic sticker, and it appeared that I was bending it. So I put it back the way I found it, and I've just decided to leave it the way it is. I'm kind of curious about that. I've never seen one like it, and I'm wondering if maybe that's something that was included with the set when it was new, and the eager purchaser of such a receiver was supposed to put it on there. So here's the power on, and as you'll hear, it definitely does not produce a click. This is a very no-frills receiver. It has only 3 sources to play from: tape monitor, tuner, and magnetic cartridge turntable. The power indicator isn't there. Instead, it's just a signal strength indicator with 3 different colored LEDs. You do at least get a digital tuner, and you get enough audio controls to make it work. Now, the tuning controller in this thing is actually capable of tuning long-wave broadcasts, but they never bothered to hook up the circuitry to do it, because for a unit sold in the U.S. market, there's really very little reason to do so. But you can select between AM and FM. It's on FM right now. And there's the AM broadcast. Anyway, here's what it sounds like. If we just turn it up a little bit here. Very crisp, a very clear sound. It's only got about 25 watts per channel worth of power. And it stays noticeably cooler. My SA-929 unit runs frighteningly hot. Here's a couple other stations in memory. I better turn this down because they might be louder. Some of them come in better than others, but that's no problem because you can kill off the stereo circuit and listen in single-channel monophonic audio if you need to.
not important. So, moving on.
The tuner's pretty good. I'd say it's about the same as the one in the SA-929, but it's not quite as good as the tuner in that Herald Electronics receiver that I recently demonstrated for all of you. I don't have a turntable hooked up to it, but I do have the good old Optimus SCT-86. This was something I got when I was in 6th or 7th grade, and it's been with me ever since. Kind of basic, but it worked great, and I recorded a lot of tapes off the radio on this thing. We'll set the tape monitor to on here, and we'll start this tape. This is a tape of Alan Jackson, and we're going to play a little bit from his song Mercury Blues, which is a fun song to listen to. I like listening to it. So here it is. Anyway, there you have it, a demonstration more or less of the Technics Quartz Synthesizer FM/AM stereo receiver model number SA-210. I'm very glad to have found this unit in excellent shape. I bid on one that actually had some broken front panel controls, and the bid went up to a crazy price. And then I found this one, and I won it uncontested for about $18 and change, which I was very thrilled about. Now, that's not to say it doesn't have some problems. Unlike the SA-929, this thing does not have a built-in backup battery. It actually takes 3 AA batteries in the back for the backup. Somebody left them in there, although they weren't there by the time I got it, and they leaked, and they've made a mess. But to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure how necessary they are, because I programmed all the station presets in this thing that you saw me select. I did that earlier this afternoon, and then it spent all afternoon without power, completely unplugged from the outlet, and no batteries in it whatsoever. I don't know if it was just the main filter capacitors that were still bleeding off, or if there's some sort of holding circuit that allows you to change the batteries without losing your presets. But it never skipped a beat on either AM or FM. I guess I could demonstrate it on AM, although I've got a compact fluorescent light over here, shining light on the situation, and yes, please forgive the mess. Anyway, we'll just try it here. We'll just see what happens. Let's see if we can find something. There we go. Well, I got a lot of fluorescent light noise in it. But when there's not a fluorescent light hovering right in front of it, the AM tuner works a lot better and sounds pretty good. The red straw, I'm sure I'll get comments about that. I was actually going to clean this thing with my contact cleaner spray, but as it turned out, I couldn't find it. It seems I've been trying to get the spray tube and the can of spray cleaner to meet, and apparently that's just not going to happen, because when I have the tube and I know where it is, I don't know where the contact cleaner is at. Likewise, when I have the contact cleaner, I don't know where the tube is, so I just stuck it in one of the ventilation holes on top of this receiver, where it fit at the time and where it was handy to put it, so in case I stumbled across the contact cleaner, something that still hasn't happened, I would have the two together and I would be able to put them together and hopefully keep them that way. But there you have it. Hopefully this will probably be the last one of these that I collect for a while, because really more than anything else I just wanted a silver one, and this model seemed appealing to me, especially because of the vacuum fluorescent display. So there you have it, and thank you for watching.